What's up, you guys? How y'all doing? So, unfortunately, this is another video that I have dreaded to make, and unfortunately, it is regarding UH men's basketball, and I'm going to put up my banner here. UH loses again to UC Irvine, 71-55, and they're currently tied for 7th in the standings with Cal State Bakersfield at 4-5, which leads me to believe that this season is all about pride for now. Gonna get into that a little bit, but first of all, guys, just remember, subscribe if you think that I'm worth listening to, or if you just want to see some more of my games, and we'll have one up later today, since it is currently the 28th when I'm making this video. So I'm gonna keep it a little short today. So let's get into this. Okay, now, first of all, I want to point out that I did not listen to much of the game because I kind of had a pretty bad feeling about UC Irvine, because Irvine is one of the perennial front runners, and in the last couple of seasons, the University of Hawaiʻi has had a lot of trouble trying to win or trying to compete with them, but they have shown flashes, and this game was one of those times, because UH found themselves down in a deep hole early because Irvine has scored the first 11 points of the game, and at one point it was 20-7 UC Irvine, and they just cruised the rest of the way. And the only guy to crack double digits for the University of Hawaiʻi was Akira Jacobs. He had 12 off the bench, whereas Irvine had 4 guys that cracked double digits. Now, I'm not really going to go into detail much. And of course, why did I only listen to so little of the game? 1, I was at church, and 2, I was also watching the Supercross from Anaheim 2. And I will have my video of that a little later on, probably on Wednesday, but we'll see. I didn't see the 250 main though, but so you won't see much of that. Won't hear me say much of that, but I will have a few things to say about that when I get there. But anyway, as far as this game is concerned, in terms of a grade, I would probably give them a B- because they were able to fight back into it, but they could not get over the top. Because the biggest gap was 16, but that was in the closing stages. And that's something you don't see on the stat sheet, you don't see on the you don't see anywhere else except the game recap. UH was down 15 at one point in the second half, and then they cut it down. They finally found a rhythm, went on a 10-0 run to cut the gap down to 4. But unfortunately, that was the closest they got, as Irvine's Justin Hone hit back-to-back threes, which resulted in an 11-0 run for Irvine, and that was it. So, quite frankly, I'm happy that this team can find a way to claw back into it, but if you subject yourselves to a slow start like you did, or subject yourselves to a scoring drought, which comes at the most inopportune time like they did against UC Davis, that's the kind of thing that's really going to come back and bite you. And that's what happened again at UC Irvine. Now, granted, I didn't think we were going to come away with this win, but did UH beat themselves? Maybe off the start, but other than that, I don't really think that they did. It's kind of hard to say whether or not now, because I did listen to the games on the radio, because I'm not willing to spend $10 or something on ESPN Plus for something I'm only going to use in the springtime and maybe up until the summer. Because as far as UH sports are concerned, this team should really be doing well, but unfortunately, it just isn't the case. Irvine has really good players on their squad, like Justin Hone and Ofure Ujadugale, just to name a few. But still, I would give that game a B-, because the fact that they were able to come back and to come back as close as they did, I probably would have given them an A if they came out on the losing end or at least saw the lead for 2 seconds, but they didn't. Unfortunately, their momentum got killed because Irvine hit those 2 triples courtesy of Justin Hone, and just like that, their chances of winning were all the way down to 0. So I'm proud of their resilience, but really, the fact that they're just not able to find the right kind of guys or some of the new faces just need more time to develop. That's what's really killing this team right now. And to be frank, it's not a matter of lack of effort or something like against CSUN. I just think that it's a matter of trying to find a way to be way more athletic because Irvine was very, very athletic. I didn't see 1 second of the game on a TV at all, but I just know from games past that Irvine is one of those teams that you just can't take lightly, and they are just really athletic. And one mistake could mean the entire game. So, quite frankly, you can tell I'm really disappointed in this team because as of right now, they're tied for 7th when really they're at 4-5 right now, when really they should be 5-4 after what should have happened was coming away with the win at Davis. And let me tell you, those last 7.5 seconds were really disappointing to hear. And the fact that Davis was able to escape with another win after they clearly choked down the stretch, even with T.Y. Johnson on the court. I'm saying that right now. But Davis, they choked down the stretch. Let me tell you. And we would have won that game if we just made some more shots down the stretch. Instead, UH was held to only 2 made field goals aside from free throws in the final 9 minutes. And that's the same thing that happened when Irvine came here. We were held to only 2 field goals made in the final 9 minutes. Granted, they did hold them down to 60 points. Here at Irvine, this season, they held them to 71. If that's under their average, that's a good positive to take away from. But to be frank, that start really killed them. So if UH can just come out to a better start and come out firing, they got a chance to take on some of the perennial front runners and maybe even beat one of them. Now, again, you do get another crack at Irvine. That's going to be on February 15th. But this upcoming homestand will be for 2 games, UC San Diego and Cal State Fullerton. And UH has no excuse to split this homestand at worst because Cal State Fullerton has only 1 win this season. And believe it or not, Cal Poly got their first win of the season over Long Beach State. Now, UH against UC San Diego, if past history is any indication, Cody Williams is probably going to have another breakout game, and maybe another one that really solidifies like what he did against Hawaii Pacific, where he was 7 for 8 from 3-point range. And if Cody can make some shots, and along with Ryan Rapp and Harry Ruliadev, this team is going to come away with 2 wins. Because we also got to get a lot more guys to crack double digits, because one guy breaking double digits is not going to get the job done. Because when one guy breaks double digits overall, this is the kind of outcome that you get. But I think if UH looks at this season as all about pride and just getting as many wins, maybe that might take away some pressure. But at this point, UH is 4-5 when really they should be 5-4. But when you look at it last year, they were 2-6 after 8 games. And then after 9 games, they were 3-6. And it led me to believe that it led me to think that, like, what is it going to take for the team to get some luck to come their way? Because the Wahine basketball team, ever since losing their first game, they've won the last 7 in a row. Can you believe this? And I keep asking myself, what is it going to take for the fellas to get this kind of luck? And apparently it goes all the way back to recruitment. And quite frankly, the fact that we're still in the Big West and now we're transitioning to the Mountain West in a couple of years is going to help recruitment. But as far as what I can see, UH has got some good talent. They just have to figure out how to use it effectively. And as of right now, Tanner Christensen being double teamed, Gitas Namisha not having a particularly good game, Marcus Greene not really filling in the blanks, even though he did fill in some blanks on this past road trip, is really killing him right now. And as far as getting on a win streak is concerned, they need that kind of intensity like how they had in 2022, where they put on these furious rallies, like how they, and even come away with the win like they did against Santa Barbara at home. So once again, it's back to the drawing board for recruitment, for recruitment. And I do hope that UH can find some good talent. And of course, some other guys like, or some other new guys like Logan Robeson or Tom Beatty, even though Tom Beatty's been here for a couple of seasons. I haven't seen Roy Igwe yet, but something tells me that he might be redshirting. But Akira Jacobs has been coming around. Ryan Rapp is doing good for his final season. Harry Ruliadev seems to be hitting his stride. Cody Williams, I thought, was hitting his stride until the Irvine game because he didn't even score. But again, it's just one of those nights, I believe anyway. It really comes down to like whether it's your night or not. And unfortunately for Cody Williams, it just was not his night. But as far as other guys go, Aaron Hucken-Clater has been proving to be an effective point guard. And he's starting to fill in some voids that guys like Juan Munoz and Noel Coleman would be filling in if they were given another year by certain circumstances. But still, I really hope that UH can turn this around. And I think it was around this time last year, calendar-wise, where UH really turned a corner after being 2-6 and then finished at about 10-8 overall, or 12-8 rather overall. But still, they ended up as the number 4 seed. They finished 4th overall. Right now, they're tied for 7th. But as of right now, if UH just looks at it as all about pride for now, until they click again, that might take away some pressure, and maybe the good will start to come back. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe, and I'll see you all for some shots from UC San Diego, which will take place this coming Thursday. UH will have to bring their A game, but I think they can turn them back. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, and I'll see